Hi, third graders. Today we're going to learn how to write the lowercase cursive J. You can see I've written all the undercurved letters we've learned so far, and the list is long, boys and girls. We're almost done with undercurved letters. Let's take a look at what J looks like. Get yourself ready, please. You should have a blank piece of paper or a whiteboard if you have one, because all practicing should first be done on a blank slate. This way you can focus on learning shape. That's the most important thing. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall in your chair, and your board is slanted. Slanting your board or your paper first helps us automatically slant our writing. So righties will just slant it to the right, tilt it to the right. Lefties will tilt it towards their body. This will help you slant your writing. Remember, cursive writing has a really nice slant. I also want to point out that it's important for you to practice with your finger in the air before you write a letter. That was an S. And also on your paper or the surface that you're working on. This will help your brain remember the shape. I'm going to show you an S with my finger to show you what it looks like. Undercurve, straight down, gets a belly and a tail. And of course, saying the words as I say them will also help your brain remember shape. Remember, everyone can learn, just not in the same way and not on the same day. And so practicing all three of those different ways will help you remember the shape. So here's your lowercase j. Now, just like an F, a J has a descender or piece of the letter that goes to the basement line. Undercurve, slants the basement, loops back, undercurve, lift your pencil off the paper, and dot. Undercurve, slants to the basement, loops back, undercurve, dot. Undercurve, slant down to the basement, loop back, undercurve, dot. Undercurve, slants to the basement, loop back, undercurve, dot. There is your lowercase j. I suggest you practice on a blank sheet of paper or a whiteboard like mine a lot of times before you move to lined paper. Let me show you some joinings, some J joinings. Those are 2 or 3 letter connections that will really have to help you practice things like spacing between letters and also your uniform slant. I'm not going to tell you what letters I'm writing because at this point you've gotten very good at reading cursive. So here's a few. Undercurve, slant to the basement, loop back, undercurve, dot. There's your J. Here's a joining. Undercurve, slant to the basement, loop back, undercurve, slant to the basement, loop back, undercurve, slant to the basement, loop back. Here's a 3-letter joining. Can you read that? I hope so. And here's a joining that starts with another letter first and then the J. That's a good way to mix it up too. If you read the joinings as J-E, like Jericho, J-I, J-U-I, as in juice, or E-J, you're correct and you're getting very good at reading cursive. If you've practiced in the air a few times and you've practiced with your finger a few times and you've practiced on a blank piece of paper, I think you're ready for lined paper. Here's some lined paper. When you're ready to move to lined paper, remember the 4 keys to legibility: the shape of your letter, the size of your letter, the slant of your letter, and the spacing between your letters. Let's just practice J on the lines to get used to it. J has a descender or piece of the letter that dips below the bottom line and touches the basement line. Watch for it. Undercurve, slant to the basement, loop back, undercurve, dot. There it is. Undercurve, slant to the basement, loop back, undercurve, dot. Undercurve, slant to the basement, loop back, undercurve, dot. Here's a whole row of J's. I'd like you to fill up the whole line on your practice paper. So now that I look at my own work, I want to circle the one that shows the best size, shape, and slant. I think this one's my best one. It's good size, good shape, and good slant. Let me show you some connections now. If you read I, J, E, J, J, E, and J, U, I, you're right. Let me circle my best one. I don't think this one's my best one because look, I went a little too far below the basement line even. I think this is my best joining. I want you to get into the habit of looking at your writing when you're done with a line and circling your best cursive too. Let's write some words. You can write longer and longer words now because you know more letters. So I'm not going to tell you what words I'm writing. I want you to practice reading them. Here I go. Make a noticing I'm taking my time and I'm really focusing on size, shape, slant, and spacing. If you read jets, jewels, and just, you're right. Good cursive reading. I want to show you now one of the same words. I'm going to start with jets here that doesn't show uniform spacing and uniform slant, so you can watch out for it. Each of the letters in words, especially as you start to write longer words, has to have the same kind of slant. I'm going to write jets now that doesn't have a universal slant, just so you can see what I mean. Do you notice the difference between this jets and that jets? This doesn't have uniform slant, and that just takes lots of practice, boys and girls. So the more you practice, the better you get at it. If you'll notice, my J and even my E is slanted, but then my T slants the wrong way, and my S doesn't have any slant at all. So be careful of this. It gets better and better the more that you practice. So the more that you write in cursive, the better you get at it. It's just like everything else. That's a very common mistake that third graders make when they're learning to write J. Let me show you some other common mistakes to watch out for when making your J's. This is a common one. And this one, this loop is a little too big. This is also a common one, but too little of a loop. You want your loop to be just right and perfectly in between the bottom line and the basement line. Undercurve, slant back, loop, undercurve, just like that. Be careful of this. This happened because you didn't pull back. I didn't pull back. Undercurve, pull it back, all the way to the bottom line, and undercurve. Okay? So watch out for this mistake. That's a no-no. And watch out for these two mistakes too. They're no-nos also. Okay. Good luck with your J's, boys and girls. And remember, take a picture of your work and send it to your teachers. We'd love to see how your cursive is coming along. See you tomorrow.